Hey Pyro, Halloween is right around the corner and we're going a little bit bats here. All y'all with your dad jokes, you got nothing on me. It's going to be super fun. This is the Crate Club project for the month of October. So you have until the 4th to get in on this project at crateclub.burnsavvy.com. On the 5th, everything starts to get packaged up and we ship it out. And I'll make sure to get yours all packaged up for you. This is going to be our Halloween masterpiece for this month. And this month we are working with beautiful birch. I think birch is one of the most gorgeous woods on the planet. It's actually one of the most popular woods to burn, and you guys are gonna love it. Stick with me to the end. I have two very important things that I need to share with you. I'm Janny Lisenby, your pyro professor. This is Burn Savvy. Let's burn. To get started, you will need your pattern, some carbon paper, some scissors, and a tracing tool of some kind. You will also need some tape to attach it to the wood. Have your slice of birch. You will need some sealant. This is polyurethane. You'll need an applicator brush to put it on. I'm going to be using a self-tapping sawtooth hanger today. These are the best. I love them. I'll put a link to all of these things in the description, by the way. And a hammer. And if you want this kind of hammer, this is actually in the Woodburning tools and accessories kit that I do have and I use all the time. It's full of tools that I use frequently. So these are what you will need for this project. You will also want sandpaper or a sanding block. This is a 220 grit. And it is also in the Woodburning tools and accessories kit, just like the scissors and the tracing tool and the hammer. You're also going to need a burner. I am going to start with just the sanding block and the piece of wood. Now, I like some of these knots. I think they add a lot of charm. So I could use this side where the knots are smaller, but I also want the bark to show. So I'm all right with using the side that has a little bit more of a rustic look to it. And you're just gonna sand this down lightly to get the splinters off or any other little wood pieces that might have raised up. And you want to sand in the direction of the wood grain. So if the wood grain were going side to side, you would want to sand side to side. This wood grain is going up and down, so I'm gonna go up and down. Next up, you will need your pattern. We're going to cut it out and then place it where you want it. Now, I want this to kind of go around that knot if I can help it. I want the knot to show, but I don't want it to detract. So I think that's going to be good. So that's where I will put my pattern. We're going to tape that down so it stays put. And the idea is to tape it in such a way that you can lift it and see the progress that you've made on tracing it. Then we're taking our carbon paper. We want to put the matte side down, or shiny side down, the gray flat side up, and put it in between the wood and the paper. I'm going to use my beanbag, also from my Woodburning tools and accessories kit, to rest my hand on, just to raise my hand up to the level of the surface, because sometimes your hand can cramp up when it has to sit at a higher level, or if the project's at a higher level than your hand is resting. And then we're just going to trace over it. Now, when I get to the bat, I'm going to trace a little bit more lightly so that it can be a little bit more like shading. And it looks like we have everything transferred. All my I's are dotted, all my T's are crossed. Time to pull that off. Let's talk about the nibs you're gonna want. If you have a solid point burner, I would recommend one of these flow points or mini flow points that have a little bit of a rounded tip to them. If you have a wire nib burner, I would use either the writing nib or the ball point. This time I'm going to use the large ball point. So this is a ball 3. Then you are simply going to trace over this with your burner and then fill it in using the same burner. And then when I get down to the bat, I'm going to switch nibs, and I'll show you what nibs I will use when we get there. Right now I am turning this on to about a medium high heat. I'm going to have it probably around a 6. Birchwood takes a higher heat, as does a ballpoint nib. So before I do this lettering, I'm going to switch the nib. I'm going to use a small flat round shader. And I'm going to trace it in and then fill it in, just like we did up here. I switch nibs because it's easier to get a long straight line with a nib that has a sharp edge. If this video has been helpful, please give it that thumbs up and let me know that I'm doing all right. Let YouTube know that I'm doing all right. And it really helps to get this video in front of other pyros who it could help. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, with that all filled in, I am going to go a little bit lighter on the heat and go closer to just a medium heat. And I'm going to gently edge the branches like we've talked about in previous videos. Just going to kind of outline it, but outline it where there's one sharp edge on one side and a soft edge on the inside. Here I am just pulling the burner along on the inside to add a little texture and a little color to this branch. Then for the leaf, I am simply going to pull from the base of the leaf, kind of following along those little veins and pulling towards the tip of the leaf. And for these, I am going to fill in the bottom and the top and leave one little section shiny. Then we are ready to tackle the bat. And here I'm going to do kind of the same thing where I basically outline it, but I outline it softly instead of harshly like I did up here. And then we'll fill it in. Now remember, you always want to burn in the direction of the texture. So when you are burning fur, make sure that you are burning those tiny little strokes in the direction of the texture. With the eyes, I simply outline them in a way where the sharp edge is on the outside of the iris and the sharp edge is also against the shine on the eye, and then I can fill in the rest. So for the 2 dots on his nose, I want to go back to using the large round ballpoint. Turn the burner back on at a nice high, medium high heat. So mine's at almost a 7. Touch in the 2 points. Add any finishing touches that you would like to add before we finish. And now that it's burned, there's our happy little batty. We are going to seal it, and we are using a polyurethane and this little sealant brush. So you want to stir the polyurethane. I'm just going to use my brush here to do that. And we will do 1 coat. And this is a pretty thick polyurethane. What I want to do is I want to get it to the edges of the bark. Remember to go in the direction that the wood grain is going, but I want to get it right over where the bark was cut. But I don't want to go too far over the edges because I love that papery look. And if I seal over it too much, it'll look a little more plasticky than papery. So you want to just get the edges of the bark. And what that does is it helps to glue the bark to the wood. Helps the bark to stay more in place. Then you just continue across the wood to the other side, and you'll want to do the same on the other side. Remember not to make it too thick. We're going to do 3 coats here. And each coat does not have to be super thick. It just needs to cover the subject. Make sure to get the sides also. Quick note about the knots. Sometimes you have to get a little extra on your brush to really dab it down in there. It can be kind of tricky, but you do want to do that so that it doesn't split. You don't want that to be a weak spot. And I like to wrap these up in a plastic bag so that I don't have to rinse it in between uses. Then we take our 220 grit, we give it a light sanding, wipe that off, and add another coat. Let that dry another 2 hours. Repeat the process to add a 3rd coat. Time to add the hanging hardware. Once it is dry, turn it over, find the center. You can measure if you'd like, and come down about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. I'm going to use the scientific measurement of my thumb and hammer it in about there. That's ready to hang. And if you've gotten this far in the video, I have 2 important announcements for you. And the first one is this. The Crate Club is going to be discontinued after December's box. I know, it's horrible, it's horrible. I know that it has been really popular and actually many months have sold out, but I have once again found a way to make wood burning a full-time gig. And I have a full-time gig. Those of you who know me, you already know I'm a mother of 6 kids. I got a bazillion chickens. I've got dog, cats. And so I don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to a full-time business. Not yet. So it's really important to me that I take care of family first. If you want to sign up for the 3-month subscription, you've got until October 4th to do that. But you guys are my Pyro family. So of course the YouTube membership will continue, and I'm going to be posting the overstock for the months that didn't sell out over on my Etsy shop. So I will have links in the description for you for that. I don't have every single month because some of the months sold out. And I was looking through some of my stuff, and I do have a few extra pieces here and there, and I might be able to order a few extra supplies to finish off a few of the boxes that were previously done. So if there's a box that you're interested in, let me know down in the comments, and I will see if I have enough to make a box or if I already have overstock for it. If you are interested in more of the Crate Club projects, you can check out this playlist right here. And if you are interested in joining the YouTube membership where we deep dive into the techniques, you can check out this video right here. And of course, for all the free Pyro goodness, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I'm Jenny Lisenby, your Pyro professor, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, Pyro.